Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you. You are both featured speakers at this year's Successful Aging Expo, which is taking place virtually this year, starting this Saturday and continuing until November 13th. Dr. Granpeesheh, let's start with you. Tell us a little bit about the Center for Autism and Related Disorders.
Thank you, Luis. So I founded CARD, the Center for Autism, 30 years ago, actually. This is our 30th anniversary. And the reason that I got involved with autism back then was that I was finishing my doctorate at UCLA, and it was a very interesting area. We didn't know very much about autism back in the 90s, but we had started to realize that it is very possible to use a psychological area technique called ABA, or Applied Behavior Analysis, to teach individuals with autism. So when I opened CARD in the first CARD in 1990, we started working with very young children, teaching them all the skills that they were falling behind on due to the diagnosis of autism. And of course, autism has grown so significantly over the last 30 years, and that now we have over 200 clinics across the U.S., and still growing, and we are serving children and adults, and we are also training their families and doing all sorts of services for them.
All right. Well, if you're just joining us, we are having a conversation with Dr. Doreen Granpeesheh, founder of the Center for Autism and Related Disorders, and Jeffry J. Wetzel, president and CEO of Brightwood Insurance Services Inc. And Dr. Granpeesheh, why did you decide to participate in this year's Successful Aging Expo?
It's a very interesting question, because one of the issues that we deal with autism is aging. The presentation that I'm giving at the expo has to do with all the challenges that caregivers have to manage. So if you're a caregiver to an individual on the spectrum, the things that you deal with, of course, starts from the very beginning of realizing the individual has a diagnosis, but these concerns change as the individual ages. And there are many things to worry about as not only the individual ages, but also as the parents age. And as they are trying to figure out what resources are available once they are no longer able to care for their children.
Great. And Jeffry, it's good to see you again, by the way. As we mentioned, you are the president and CEO of Brightwood Insurance. It's the largest Medicare-only insurance agency in San Diego. You said there's some big changes coming our way to Medicare in 2021. Talk about that.
Kind of nice to be able to bring some good news. It's been a tough year for the seniors in San Diego and across the country. So for the first time in 7 years, Medicare has made some changes in the San Diego market, bring in better benefits, lower copays, and it's really going to help the seniors out and really going to help save them money. So I'm pretty excited about being able to tell everybody about it.
Great. And so talk a little bit about when people should start thinking about enrolling in Medicare.
Yeah, so Louise, it's people that are when they're turning 65, that's generally people get onto Medicare. There are some instances, if you're on disability and you've been on disability at least 2 years, you can get onto Medicare prior to turning 65. For those that are planning for it, going to turn 65, going to get under Medicare, become eligible, we generally want to see you about 6 to 8 months away, so we can kind of get a blueprint, kind of get things set up so that it's when we get within our 3-month timeline, there isn't any problems and everything goes through nice and smooth.
Now, what are some things that you're hoping folks will get out of your presentation at this year's event?
Probably one of the biggest things, and I don't know if people really realize this, but when it comes to Medicare, especially people that are already on a Medicare plan, every year they get a notice. It's called an Aimoc, Annual Notice of Change. So from Medicare, it tells them about their existing plan and all the changes from one year to the next. but it only tells them about their existing, the plan that they have right now. They don't tell them that there's a plan to the left or right that could save them money or bring them extra benefits. So for people, unless they have extra knowledge when it comes to Medicare, and this stuff is complicated. You know, imagine, we've been doing this for years. This is all we do. This is our only focus. And it's still hard to keep on track of all the changes and things that are coming about. I can't imagine somebody sitting at home trying to figure this out on their own. So what we're able to do is especially forums like this, is get the word out, let people know that we exist, because we can kind of sit down and kind of give everybody we call it a Medicare physical. Kind of go through their plan and see what their doctor and their prescriptions and, you know, what their health condition is, and see if the current plan that they have is actually the right one for them.
Great. Now I know you're going to be participating, obviously, in the Successful Aging Expo, but where can people get more information if they have questions?
Yeah, sure. So, you know, basically our website, bridlewoodinsurance.com, is a great way. Drop us a line. We'd be happy to answer any questions. You know, everybody has the A, B, C, D of Medicare, but then everybody's situation's a little bit different. Everybody has different prescriptions, different doctors, different medical needs. So it really kind of boils down to, we have to kind of take it case by case by case, and everybody's kind of a word problem. It's different, Louise. It's like the husband's turning 65, the wife is 63, he's got this, she's got that. We have to take the problem, take the pieces and put it back together for them so that it's a solution for them going forward. So we're not salespeople, we're problem solvers. That's what we do.
Great. Dr. Granpeesheh, same question to you. I mean, what are you hoping that people in attendance get from your presentation?
Thank you, Luis. I was, you know, when I was putting together this talk, I was thinking it's so important for people to realize how challenging it is to deal with a diagnosis of autism, how challenging it is for the caretakers, in particular, the people who take care of these children and adults. And so I really do hope that the people who attend and see this presentation will, first of all, realize that it is an incredibly difficult and challenging thing to deal with, and that they will have more sympathy when they encounter autism in their environment, and it is, of course, very prevalent now. But also that I hope that my presentation gives people a kind of sort of resources and helps individuals who are just entering kind of the world of autism know that they can come to our centers, CARD. We are, as I said, over 200 centers and growing. And if they come there, we will provide them with all kinds of information as well as therapy, behavioral therapy for their children. And, you know, with autism, it is very important to start as early as possible. So that's what I'm hoping, to be able to provide some resources for the individuals who need it.
Great. And we have your website address there on your screen, centerforautism.com. As you mentioned, you've been doing this for many, many years. How has your field, how has autism and I guess looking for solutions, how has that changed? How has that evolved?
So, you know, when I actually started working in this field about 42 years ago, if you can believe it, I founded CARD 30 years ago, as I said, and the prevalence of autism back then was something like 1 in 10,000 children. And of course, now the prevalence, according to the CDC, is more like 1 in 50 children. So it has increased exponentially. And so anything like that, if you can imagine, you know, there's chaos around it. Not only there's, you know, schools are not prepared to deal with it. Parents really don't know what to do as the children age. There's not adequate housing for them. There's very, very limited kind of training and vocational training and educational training for those individuals. And we were very fortunate, I think, as a field, about, I want to say maybe 10 years ago or so, health insurance started to cover this type of therapy, behavioral therapy for autism. So that's really when services started to really take off. And we've seen a big change in our ability to serve more people since there's medical coverage. And so that has been a wonderful thing. It is a good resource that we only enjoy in the US. But as I said, I think the next wave for autism will be that we will be training families more and also developing more resources for adults, because there really are not that many resources when an individual turns 18.
If you're just tuning in, we've been chatting with Dr. Granpeesheh and Jeffry Wetzel, who will be participating in the upcoming 11th Annual Successful Aging Expo, taking place virtually this Saturday through November 13th. There will be more than 20 seminars on a range of topics ranging from health and wellness to Medicare, family travel, and more. There will also be more than 30 virtual exhibitor booths full of tips and resources. And this year, we've also added a caregiving seminar series, and there are 3 days where guests interact with speakers through an online chat and or video calls, and that will all be held on October 27th and 29th and November 7th. So we have an amazing lineup coming up this weekend. So of course, this weekend I'll also next week I will have the pleasure of interviewing Joan London, who obviously is the award-winning journalist and best-selling author. The former Good Morning America host has reported from 26 countries, covered 5 presidents, 5 Olympics, and kept Americans informed on home, family, and health issues. We'll be discussing her latest book, Why Did I Come Into This Room? So that should be very interesting. So I hope that people can join us for that. And again, it's absolutely free. All you have to do is sign up at successfulagingsd.com. There's the website on your screen, successfulagingsd.com. And there will actually also be giveaways throughout the 21 days, including iPads, Theragun therapy devices, books, gift cards, and much more. So hope you can join us at successfulagingsd.com. Dr. Granpeesheh and Jeffry Wetzel, is there anything else that you would like to add?
Doctor, you want to go
Thanks
first?
very much for the opportunity.
Thank you. Yeah, Louise, I just wanted to kind of add, the poor seniors have been cooped up for about 6 months now, and they're all trapped at home, and they've been just getting phone call after phone call, and this year it's just been one scam after another. And I think people need somebody to reach out to, somebody they can trust. And I think that's what we want to convey is we are, and probably the doctor too, we're a trusted local right here. We've been doing this for years and years. We have A+ rating, we're 5-star reviews. We're the ones to reach out to. And especially now, this time of year, this is when we want to get after it. Help people out.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Dr. Doreen Granpeesheh, founder of the Center for Autism and Related Disorders, and Jeff Wetzel, President and CEO of Brightwood Insurance Services. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us and for participating in this year's Successful Aging Expo.
Thank you, Louise.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
I'm excited to be part of the Successful Aging Expo. I hope you'll join us from October 24th through November 13th for the 11th Annual Successful Aging Expo. See you then.
In my talk, Self-Care in an Upside Down World, we'll all download the new, better plan to meet those challenges head on.
I'm honored to be chosen to speak at this year's Aging Expo, and I can't wait to tell you about all the exciting new Medicare changes that are headed your way.
This is Brian DeVore, Director of the Senior Services Division of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, California Properties. I'm really looking forward to seeing you online at this year's Successful Aging Virtual Expo.
Make the most of life at any age. Register now for the Successful Aging Virtual Expo, brought to you by the San Diego Union-Tribune. Join us from the safety of your own home to learn about retirement and financial planning, health and wellness, Medicare, travel, and caregiving. Plus, get tips on how to be healthier and happier in these stressful times. This free virtual event will be available 24/7 from October 24th through November 13th. Log on to successfulagingsd.com.